So the story is that she said that the whites went and captured the Asantehene, the Queen Mother, and her maternal uncle. So yes, that's Wafa, and Wafa is a maternal uncle. So they took all of them over to the Seychelles Islands because the whites were having a tax that they had to pay, and the Asantehene said that he wouldn't pay it. He would pay half, and then the rest he would just pay in installments. And the whites didn't like that, so they said that he should organize a durba, where they would all come and have a festival, dancing and drumming, etc. But the whites came, and at that time, that's when they took the Asantehene, the Queen Mother, and her maternal uncle, all of them to go. So at that time, everyone was in confusion because the maternal uncle, who was the king of Idriso here, this town, Idriso, that because he was gone, that's why they put Sankofajourneykinofyaaasantewa as the Queen Mother, but also to rule over everything here in Idriso. So they called together all of the leaders of the various communities in order to decide what they should do. At that time, the emissary of the Queen of England came there and said that he would sit on the golden stool, that because he is a representative of the Queen of England, he would sit on the golden stool. The golden stool is Sikadra Kofi, as we mentioned before, which is the very symbol of the soul of the Asante nation. So no one sits on the golden stool, especially not some European from abroad. So it was the highest insult that anyone could get. But everyone there was worried. She said that the king of Mampong, which is a very major town that's known for fighting, the Bantama king was also there. They were all just sitting there quietly. So the white man went away. So at this time that he said that he would sit on the golden stool, he should go and take the golden stool, Sankofajourneykinofyaaasantewa stood up and smacked all of these high-ranking, supposedly brave men because they didn't say anything. And she's famous. There's a quote. They say, which is that the departed husbands will obtain wives, which is a way of saying that the men who have already died, that they will get wives because at this time the women will fight for it. So at that time, she got everything together to fight, and they had very good war tactics where they would be on the ground in the bushes and they would shake the tops of the trees. So the whites would think that they were in the tops of the trees and they would be shooting up at the tops of the trees. And at that time, the Asante would be shooting on the ground and knocking them out. It was the first instance of guerrilla warfare as opposed to marching in columns as had been done before. So there was a traitor to the people who told the whites that, oh, this is how they fight. They're really down the bushes. They're just shaking up there, so don't shoot up into the trees, shoot down into the bushes. At that time, that's when things started to go poorly. But what they did to protect Sikadra Kofi, the golden stool, is that they made a big hole and buried it. So the whites thought that when they got a fake golden stool, they took it. They thought that that was the real one, but it was never the real one because the Asantes were too clever for the whites. So eventually, because the whites... because the whites had learned the Asante war tactics, they were eventually able to overpower and take Sankofajourneykinofyaaasantewa over to Hanumansa, which is known as Elmina, that room at the top where they put her. And then they also took her to the Seychelles Islands where she joined Prempe, the Queen Mother, Yachia, and her own maternal uncle over there. So this the summary of the story that she just gave. And her maternal uncle was known as Nana Frane.
So beautiful, laughter, very good. And this is Nana Frane, and I'm happy. One political issues. Simply, those discoveries. This is Nana Frane. Nana Frane.
Mình là ai có phát giờ quay là cha thì này là năm năm ta nên vào qua giờ quay nhá là con là nó là nó là nó quan mình làm cái là sản xe bạc quá lúc bạc ta làm phải làm sao có quá phải ra được nana ya kwa wa fa nana ya ta na sa ko ana ma ko ni ta ya ye ko tu tu fo ta ana wa sa kwan wa da kwa ama me ana me nana fa wa si me tu ya wo ni ba na nana ya ta chấm là nó giả tạm cho người mới là nó đạp nó vào cá xe hoa rồi đó hoa mai âm mai mà mới là nó phải mới là nó đã tại của đó hoa mai chứ với chứ cái anh ấy mà rồi anh nào vào cái gì em ta cái này là ba mà rồi
Eu nunca vi que passei por
anh nào của và bao nhiêu cuộc sống anh nào mà chơi là papa anh là sự vô là sao phần qua ba giờ này cũng không phải là cái nana giờ ra là sao cũng mà nana giờ ra mà nana giờ sinh cũng là nào qua cũng là như vậy giờ này qua pha cũng là cũng không phải pha cũng như bà anh qua phê cái phút ra đã qua anh qua phê một số mà sẽ nana là rồi qua mà
a friend de fix.
Anh là sao qua mà quay anh là quay nó sẽ ra đại sẽ bị đi bài những lớp gì nữa cho nên là mình mà anh là anh mua cái cá là cũng quay lại anh là hoàn mang là hoàn mang cái miền nào vậy đó mà như vậy đó nào còn quay là mang nó là ba giờ nó là mang em nào cũng tôi
Ini mampu na um peso motemo home prayer santimemo.
Yeah, you was. They're not ashamed.
Okay.
We were fat among the first. And I said, Gabin, two roast to the
now why wouldn't I go to Tom for the
Now so when I'm not crying now, come
yeah, he destroyed all of them.
So the brother Okay, so the history is that the brother of Santewa was named Nana Frane, and she was saying that when the brother, and they were related by the same mother, which means that they had the same Abusian, which is the maternal clan. So at the time when the king of Msuta, which is another Asante, Mampong, also Kokofu.
All that is saying that those Oyukos, they fight against Jews. They fought against Jews. Because they wanted to create this area. Kokofu wanted to create this area. And this man wanted to, but the tradition said, my friend, you can't fight him. So he destroyed all of them, and then they said the nephew, Otumfo is the nephew. be the king so that they will go for
me person me try asia man media me try asia that team person
very good mystery this one.